I would like to welcome you to the play of The Tale of the Three Trees. So please sit back and enjoy it with us. Once upon a mountain top, three little trees stood and talked of what they hoped to become when they grew up.
Just look at the night sky. The stars shine like jewels, and that is what I want to hold. Not stars, but treasure. I want to be covered in gold and filled with shining rare and precious stones. I will hold the biggest treasure in the world.
Do you hear the stream that sings as it is running down our mountain to the ocean? I want to be a part of a ship, the strongest ship in the world. I will carry kings and important people across the mighty waters of the ocean.
Do you see all the people down there in the town? I don't want to leave this place. I just want to grow big and tall and strong, so that everyone that looks up will see me with my hands raised to heaven and then look to God. And then they will think of God.
Hallelujah.
Years flew by like minutes as the trees grew and grew. Rain came. Snow came. And seasons passed. The trees grew strong and tall. One day, woodcutters came to take the trees to the next phase of their life. The first tree went to a carpenter's shop.
I knew it. Now I will be made into a beautiful treasure chest and sold to an important king who will use me to hold the most precious jewels in the world. I can't wait.
But it was not so. The carpenter made the first tree into an ordinary feed box, and it was placed in a barn. The second tree was taken to a shipyard.
Now is the time they will use me to build the biggest and strongest ship in the world. I will carry kings across rough waters to distant lands. I can't wait.
But it was not to be. They made it into a simple fishing boat and sold it to a fisherman. The third tree was sad when it realized they were going to cut it down too.
How can I help people to think of God if they don't leave me here to point the way? What will become of me?
The third tree was made into beams and left to sit in the lumberyard. Now the trees were very far from each other, and they felt further still from their dreams.
I wanted to be covered in gold and sparkling jewels, so they would use me to hold the most important treasures. Now I am covered in dust and mud and hay for animals to eat. I will never be a treasure chest now.
I was going to sail the oceans, carrying kings on important missions. Now I'm a fishing boat, and I'm too weak to sail the ocean. I will never be able to carry kings now.
All I wanted to do was stand straight and tall and true, pointing the way for others to look to God. Now, I'm just a simple being. I will never be able to remind people to think of God now.
Many days and nights passed as the trees settled into their new roles. They began to forget their dreams. Then one clear night, someone new came into the barn, where the first tree that was now a feed box stood.
Who is this lady? And why is she sleeping here? This is a place for animals, not people.
The trees soon understood why they were there, for the lady had a baby and placed it in the feeding box with fresh hay to soften it. Her husband looked at his wife and told her he wished he could make a cradle for their little son.
Did she really just say that it was okay? She said I was perfect for this baby. She said I was meant to be here for him. This is no ordinary baby.
Suddenly, shepherds came and knelt at the feed box where the baby lay. They spoke of heaven and angels.
I am holding the greatest treasure in the world. After all, for this is the Son of God. My dreams has come true, but not in the way I planned. It's even better.
More than 30 years went by, and then one evening, a tired man and his friends climbed into an old fishing boat that had once been the second tree. The tired man lay down and fell asleep as soon as he could, while the others began to sail the boat.
Who are these men? They don't appear to want to fish. Look at that one in the back. He's fallen fast asleep. They aren't even here to enjoy a nice boat trip. Why are they here?
Although the weather had been calm and quiet, the storm began to grow. There was wind, thunder, lightning, and then the waves began to get bigger and bigger.
What am I going to do? I dreamt of being a strong ship, but I'm just a simple boat. There are so many people in me right now that I do not have the strength to get them across. We are going to sink. All of us will be lost.
The men on the boat began to panic. One went and woke up the one who had been sleeping. He calmly stood and stretched out his hand. Then he said one word, peace. The storm stopped, and that moment, and all was calm again.
No one from this earth could have done what that man just did. He must be the King of heaven. I dreamt of carrying kings where they needed to go, and now I have carried the King of Kings along his way. This is Cherry-Piku. My dreams have come true, better than that I wanted them to do.
A couple of years went by, and then one Thursday morning, the beings that had been the third tree awoke as they were pulled from the woodpile. The third tree grew more and more nervous as it was carried through the town, for there were many angry and shouting people, and some were throwing things.
This is the opposite of what I dreamed of doing. I planned to stand straight and tall so people will look on high and look to God. Now I'm being used to make others sad and angry. Even the man carrying me doesn't want to do it. I'm too heavy. He fell and had another man out to help him. Where are we going?
They went to the top of a hill, and the beams that had been the third tree shuddered as they were tied together, and the man's hands and feet were nailed into him. It felt like it had done this to the man. He hung on there on the cross of beams, and some who looked cried, but most were angry and glad to see this man up there.
I dreamed of standing straight and tall and pointing the way to God. Now I'm also standing straight and tall, but most of the people here are not thinking of God. Now this man that was nailed to me, he's dead. Look at his friends crying as they're taking him away. This is the opposite of what I dreamed I'd be.
The man was taken down, and 3 days passed. On Sunday morning, as the sun was coming up, the beams felt the earth tremble beneath him.
That man is
A
alive.
stone was rolled away from the tomb.
That man is alive again. No one but God could do something like this. Look at the love on his face. He has changed everything. Even death has now been conquered. I dreamed of standing straight and tall and pointing the way to God so they would think of him. Those who used me thought to make something of me that was opposite of that. But God has changed it, and now when people think of me, they won't be able to stop thinking of God. My dream has come true, but not as I planned. It's even better.
All 3 of the trees' dreams had come true in ways that were different than they had planned. It had been done in ways that made them even better. So the next time you feel sad because you aren't doing what you planned or getting what you want, be still and take comfort knowing that God has something even better in store for you.
Romans 8 verse 28 says, "And we know for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose."
And Proverbs 16:9 says, "The heart of a man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps."
And lastly, 1 Corinthians 2 verse 9 says, "As it is written, no eye has seen, nor ear has heard, or entered into the heart of man what God has prepared for those that love him."
I would just like to thank, firstly, Johan, can you come to the front, please?